And just like that, we're in another Thursday. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to GBC Women with Words. We're here today. It's a beautiful Thursday afternoon or evening, wherever I am. Hello, Eva.
Hello, hello.
How you doing?
I am okay. How are you?
I'm here. I had a lot of fun today.
I
This
see.
I know this morning I woke up thinking about my dad. I say, hey, what's there to do to cheer me up, and I just went down there the road. There are a lot of lessons that we can look back and learn from our parents. And today I shared some of my dad's stories, some things that I participated in and they didn't even know probably how my mother felt at the time.
Yep.
But now, as I look back, I can say I understand there are a lot of things our parents did. And I don't want to hold people up, but it's like one of the things that came to my mind today, Eva, was like I willingly participated in some of the things he did as a child, as a young woman, because I don't think I even had an option or a choice. If I went to my dad and we were driving home from work,
Wherever
they
the car
tell
stop,
me
please
to
stop
do
out.
and stop that way. So it was interesting. And I think this is the first time my father died in unexpectedly. In and I want to talk about it because there were a lot of mixed comments on my post, and I wanted to start the show talking about grief. It's so difficult to accept grief.
Oh yeah.
So difficult. And I think today was the first day since my dad died in 2014 that I
Mhm.
really talk about him a lot. And I think for me it was an unfeeling moment. It was a moment for me where I think there was some form of acceptance today. The clothes my father died in, I brought it with me from Liberia. I still have it in a bag.
Wow.
The funeral pictures, I haven't had the time. And I think I just felt a sense of opening today. It's like freedom for me today with all of those things that I share. Some of those things has been buried deep within. And I think it's like I accepted his death today.
Mm.
I had gone to just to share, and thanks to everybody for joining. Of course, this is GBC Women with Words, but there are lessons. If you follow me and you're my friend on Facebook, you would see today's trend. There was a lot of stories I talk about, and these are things that we have to admit. Our parents back in the day, they were promiscuous. I'm sorry to
Oh
say,
yes.
and I can admit that my father had, I mean, he was married to my mother for 45 unbroken years before he passed. He had girlfriend, he had Jews. The man had plenty of
Mm.
Jews then. The man was lawyer. The
Which
man
one of
was
them
really,
didn't?
he had plenty of Jews. And for me to be able to, and some people today, they didn't understand what I was doing. They didn't understand what my mindset was and what I was going through. But for me today, I took about 3 hours sharing stuff about him. And it was an acceptance for me that yes, my father
Your
is
father
gone.
is gone.
And no matter what his legacy is and what his story is, I was a part of that story. And I have to be able to tell it because sometimes we all knowingly, and when I look back now and look back at some of the struggles that he and my mother had, I can truly say that I participated in some of her bad feelings because I was getting my Chanel perfume, I was eating my potato green rice, I was eating
Hmm.
my pepper soup, and they were sending me dress, buying me African blouse, but I didn't know those things were hurting my mom.
Yeah.
And my story about my dad, and I want to encourage people that sometimes you don't know how people deal with grief. I am not a preacher. I always say when we came to the States, I went to Virginia Union University for one semester. My grade point average was 12.0, but I told God, they want to lie. You don't call me to preach. Yeah, I left when I said, I'm praying be preacher. I said, I don't care how my good grade I may go, I ain't feeling the other anointing yet. Singing at my ear, but to say I can't preach God. And they tried to convince me to say, I said, that they play a going. Preaching not for me. But I went to bury my grandmother. My mother was seriously sick in the ICU. I want to share this today because sometimes people don't know what we go through. You see us out there, you may see even,
Glendy, I'll be right back.
yeah,
I'm getting the
sure.
emergency call.
Okay. You may see some of us, you don't know what we're going through, you don't know the difficulties that we're feeling. And so you can never identify. And I had gone to bury my grandmother in 2014. My mother at the time, my mother she's an only girl child from her mom. And when my grandmother died, my mother was sick in ICU here. She was so sick. And I had to go bury my grandma. While I was there in Liberia, I arrived in Liberia on that Sunday evening. I went from the airport to my dad's house. He knew I surprised him. Well, not surprised because he knew I was coming for the funeral, but the time I arrived, he didn't know I was coming that night. So got there. I met my dad that Sunday night. Monday night, I Monday afternoon, I visited with my dad. Tuesday morning, we met, and my dad was like, "Oh, I'll see you tomorrow," which was Wednesday. He said, "I'll see you tomorrow around 1 o'clock because we're leaving Monrovia for Banga on Thursday because my grandmother was supposed to be buried on Saturday, and we were going to go up to Banga on Thursday for the wake on Friday and then Saturday." I really want to explain this story because sometimes we're hurting inside and we're grieving inside, and people don't know what you're going through, and they just say, "Oh, you're all out there." Sometimes grief can be hidden by the things we do. We cover it up, and people don't understand what you go through, and they think you're strong, but you're not strong. And so went to bury my grandmother, and that Wednesday morning my dad called me around 9 o'clock and said, oh, he was on his way to town. He had a case at Temple Justice. He would stop there. He would pick up his clothes from the laundry, and then he would pick me up, and then he would pick me up, or he would stop by where I was at the time. I was spending the when in Liberia. I was at Cotto's place, my sister. I was at her place. And so around after we talked, I said, okay, I'll be here, and then we'll meet at 1 o'clock. At around 11 a.m. that morning, I had two of my play daughters, Harriet and her sister, come to see me. They brought me some nice fry plenty, and you know my food business, I gotta talk it inside. Cause they think I'm gonna be sorry for. I want you to be sorry for. I let you business. Nice fry, right? Plenty. They brought it to me. I ate it plenty as I was, and this is the first I've been able to explain this story, but this is the first time I'm able to explain it and talk about my dad with a lot of freedom. And so as I was walking them on the highway, halfway from the house, Rehab Road, just before we got to Ambassador Boyka's house, I got a call from my cousin Louise Maplet, Reverend Maplet's wife, the late Reverend Maplet's wife. And she called me and said, where are you, Piggy? And I said, oh, I'm walking my daughters halfway. They came to see me. And she said, where's your dad? I'm like, well, what a woman asked me for my passport. They made I either one like bureau. You can't ask me for him. I just here to come bury my grandma. So I said, oh, I don't know where he is. She said, have you talked to him today? I said, yes. But I tell you, I instantly, after I answered her question, I instantly felt some weakness in my spirit. I felt so weak. It's like a drove of sadness came over me. And I said, I was like, why are you calling me to ask me about him? And she hung up the phone, immediately hung up. So the first thing I did was I said, you know what? I'm going to call my dad immediately because I felt something had happened. And I called him. And when I called his phone, my cousin answered. And she said, I said, where's Daddy? And she said, we brought him to Striker. I said, what do you mean? What do you mean you brought him to Striker? She said oh my God. She said he had a fall in the Temple of Justice yard and he was bleeding from his head. And we took him to Cooper Clinic, but they wouldn't accept him because the way he was bleeding. So we took him to JFK. And when we got to JFK, they pronounced him dead. I said, no, that you're talking about somebody else. I said, I just spoke to my dad around 9 o'clock. I said, you can't be talking about my father. And that is, I immediately called Cottle and we went to Striker. And my father was laying on the gurney, dead. I wasn't prepared for it. I had gone to Liberia to bury my grandmother. My mother was sick and dying in the hospital. And I had to go to Striker, knowing that my grandmother was also at Striker. And I had to go to Striker to see my father. So I wasn't prepared for my dad's death. And from that time until now, I have not been able to go to any graveyard. And I've not really been able to talk about my dad and talk about his memories. I've been able to tell people about him and talk about my dad. So my talking about my father today was is it and it was moments of freedom, of letting him go. It was like sharing the memories we had, whether it appeared bad, whether it appeared good. Today was a sense of opening up for me that yes, my father is gone. And so I wanted to share in all of the stories I shared today. I wanted to share my dad's story. So I lost my father. I buried my grandmother. And I had to bury my dad with my mom being in a hospital here. Returned to the States. And within 2 months, my grandfather died. So what you see, you see this story that you see, but you have no idea what I've been through. And sometimes all we can do is be strong in the midst of the difficulties we've been through so that others will gain strength by what they see. So that's why I share my dad's story today about, oh yeah, Judy. He had plenty of juice. So let me just welcome our guests onto the show. Eva had to step away. She'll be right back. Like I say, this is GBC Women with Words. We're here this evening with Apostle and his beautiful wife. Thank you for joining us. It is a pleasure to have the two of you here. I know I'm sorry I had to share my dad's story, but I think I had a moment of freedom today to be able to just say what I wanted to say with nobody stopping me,
It
talk
is
what I wanted to talk about whatever I wanted to share his memory. And
right.
that's why I did it. But welcome to GBC. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah. I want to make sure that everybody, if you're watching, please share this story. I am so impressed by these. I'm gonna call them young people because I am older than both of them.
Yes, we call you our mother, definitely.
Yes. So these are my children. I am so extremely proud of them. I'll tell you about why I'm proud of them, but I want to first tell us a little bit about Prince, the Apostle Prince. I got to know him later, but Jasmine is family.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell us a little bit. It could be you, Jasmine, introducing yourself, and then Prince can also introduce himself. I want to be very informal, but I know you people are high people.
No, please be free.
I
Let
want to be.
go.
I want to relax to do this interview because
Yes, yes,
I've
let's
looked
do.
forward to doing this. So tell us a little bit about the two of you.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm Jasmine Williams, and this is my husband, Prince Williams. And we're here in Greensboro, North Carolina. We moved 2.5 years ago from Minnesota. We've been in Minnesota for over 20 plus years.
Mm,
And I felt like it was time to move. One of the reasons was it was too cold, and we were getting older, so I wanted to move to Texas, and then he did not want to move, but then we prayed about it, and God sent us to Greensboro. Didn't know nobody here. Everybody that we met here, or that is here with us, pretty new. So 2 years and counting with everybody that you see. But yeah, we've been here just moving by the grace of God. And it's been marvelous since we moved to Greensboro. Really, really awesome.
amazing.
Well, she said my name, but I'm Apostle Prince Williams. This is my wife. We've been married for about 17, going on 18 years now. We have 6 children, 2 girls and 4 boys, and we got 3 grandchildren.
Wow.
And it's a blessing to be here tonight. And please, Mother Glenda, feel free. Let's flow. Let's
Yes.
be as casual as we can be.
Yes.
So the thing I like about it, and thank you for those of our audience who's watching. We want to welcome you to GBC. Like I said, we have my children here tonight. Apostle Prince and Prophetess Jasmine. I am so very proud of them. Jasmine, I've probably watched grow up.
Yeah.
We connect in my ex life, but we're still connected.
Amen. That's right.
And
That's
one of
right.
the things I hear you say is, how do you live in an area for 20 years and decide that you're going to move? How, what brought, I know you talk about the weather and all of that, but
Yeah.
despite the weather, the location, I mean, you're deciding to relocate to your family to
Right.
an area where you know nobody. How did
Right.
you come up with, I mean, what led you to want to do that?
Well, I think the Jewish people call it chutzpah. I think we have chutzpah.
Guts, yeah.
What I like about us, we are not afraid to try anything. And to be honest, Mother, we've been around at least for a little bit, and most of our friends, they ask us the same question, but we see that most people that we come across are afraid to start new things, or just go out there. And I just like that about us. I love it because our minds are open. And honestly, I was just tired with Minnesota, to be really honest. Even though we had the ministry there for like 10 years, we had been there with the church, and it was good and everything. But I felt like it was time to move. And there's sometimes in our lives where you just feel like, you have outgrown your space and the people around you, and you just want to move. And most people would be like, I've been here, I'm comfortable. But yeah, I like what we do. We just get up and go. And if it doesn't work, we try again. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was time for us to move, and we just got up and moved.
Definitely.
So who convinced them? Who convinced one person? I know somebody had to say it's time to move. Who had to do the convincing to move? Because I'm pretty sure the two of you didn't say yes, we're moving
No,
Not
together.
at
So
all.
somebody, who are the person that had a hard time and say I'm moving nowhere?
She did it.
he
I
he did
was the
not
one.
want to move. He's a mama's boy.
I love Minnesota.
Yes.
She got one boy and one girl, and then all the family over there. So he was just adamant about just staying there, and I kept bugging him, let's go, I want to get out of here. And then finally, he just decided, because like I said, I wanted to move to Texas, but he wasn't feeling Texas. So when North Carolina came up, and then we were in a time of prayer, and so I just asked God, please just touch his heart. I'm tired. I just want to move. So when I said, how about North Carolina? He said, yeah, maybe we can do that. And then Greensboro just came. But like I said, we didn't know nobody here. We just moved by faith.
This
And
is this. Go ahead.
I love Minnesota because I love the cold. Our last daughter, her name is I named her Winter because winter is my favorite season. I love the ice, I love the snow. So Minnesota was a comfort zone for me. My mom lived there, my family, because I grew up in New York City. I moved to Minnesota, and my whole family moved as well. So I didn't want to move again and leave them again. But I always told her no. When she finally said one day, she said, "Let's move to Greensboro." She said that the law said Greensboro. Do you know Greensboro? I said, "No, let's look on the map." So we later went on Google and looked for Greensboro in North
Wow.
Carolina. That's how much we didn't know nothing but Greensboro.
Right.
So I said, okay, let's do it. And then what we did, we downsized from the house to the apartment, because if you have a mission and assignment, you must adjust yourself. So we said, let's downsize and then save money. And then she and the kids came ahead, and I stayed back and worked and supported them until a few months later. Then I joined them, and that's how we made that move.
I don't want us to skip that piece. It's a serious lesson in what you just said. It's almost like we're learning a lot from the two of you in such a in few minutes. You're saying that you've been in an area for 20 years.
Yes.
And it's almost like me. I'm gonna give my example. I've been trying to I don't want to be where I am. I want to move.
All right.
But my kids, I'm at a place where my kids don't want to move. So
Mm,
it's like when I'm listening to you, or it's like you exercise your faith.
yeah.
Yeah.
You also was not afraid to make the changes and adjustments you needed
Yeah.
to
Yes.
be able to forge ahead. That's amazing. It's like leaving a house, going to a no man's land where you know nobody there, and
Yeah.
saying, you know what? Even if I gotta go there and tow water, I'm going to tow my water until
Mhm.
I. That's amazing. This is truly awesome that you all did that. And I will say it. I need to compliment your wife. I literally watched the move, the different times,
Yes.
with she and the children coming ahead. And I still had chill bumps the day that you came home
Oh,
with
that
the two
surprised them.
children. When
Yes.
they opened the door and saw dad,
Yes.
that's amazing. It's almost like somebody deciding to have been here. There, we have a lot of people. I specifically want to mention one of my brothers who's watching, Burma Blake, who also been in America for so many years. We had talked to him on the show before, deciding to go back home to
Mm.
Liberia. This is what it reminds me of. It's like you didn't know. How is it that did you think that it would be risky? Did you think that there would be some difficult times? How did you get yourself not to worry about the unknown?
We did, and I think, and the story behind that video is that I have gone to Ohio to preach, but the kids didn't know I have made a surprise stop in Greensboro just to see them. They have been gone for, now we've never been apart before. I have gone mission trip for about 2 weeks, the most we've been apart. So she and the kids have been going for 3 months now, and that was a long time for me. I said, let me surprise them. That's how I stopped by and made a surprise visit. But like everything else, mother, it's a risk, right? And if you don't try nothing, most people have potential. Your potential will never become anything until you move to the next level. So we thought about moving to a new place. Ministry was on our mind. When the Lord said move, He said move and start a new location. So ministry was on our mind, but then how do we start in a new environment? So the plan was she and the kids would go ahead, and I would stay back in Minnesota and work. And then, matter of fact, the townhome we live in now, we actually found it on Zillow, right?
Yeah.
On the internet,
Zero.
Zillow. We just trust God. So, okay, this look good. Let's move there. And then we live in one of the best communities. It's suburban, and we love it.
Right.
So pretty much this was all God guidance.
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
think potential plus God advice and just his leadership is what got us here. It was scary. We first moved here, I'll be honest with you, to be transparent, things didn't go well at first. She moved here first. The car broke down. The only car they had broke down, and a bunch
Wow.
of stuff was going bad. So it seems like it made more sense to go back to Minnesota.
Right.
But we said no. If the Lord told us to come here,
Hmm.
He's going to fulfill His plan. So it was not easy. It was tough. It was definitely tough. But
And I want to connect this cliche with what you just explained. That's a cliche. There is what God cannot do does not exist.
That's
yes,
right.
that's right.
That's right.
What God cannot do does not exist. And so you really did exercise your faith. So I
Yeah,
want to ask another question. Your young, beautiful wife,
yeah.
handsome husband, you're
Thank you.
living in Minnesota. What do you want on your mind?
Well, I mean, well, we're friends. Besides being, married, we're friends, and throughout the years, we've built trust and through the friendship. So I didn't have any doubt in my mind that he would stay pure for me, and I'll do the same for him. So it was not an issue at all to leave Prince, because, as a matter of fact, he was always on the phone. So, yeah, we always on, every time we are apart from each other, we on the phone. So,
Sister, yeah.
there was no trust issues or nothing for me to worry about. So I just knew that, yeah, I'm gonna go and he will come. We didn't know when he was gonna come. Well, I don't even know. This is just, everything is just crazy how it just came and everything fell into place because, like you said, by faith we came, and 3 months later it was okay for him to come, even though we had a congregation, growing church over there. But God just caused everything to fall into place for him to just leave and come, and with nothing, no commotion or nothing. So yeah, I didn't think about him going somewhere else.
And but how Minnesota is very cold.
I
So
know, right?
after 3 months, I couldn't wait. So I had to come
You
and
said no,
surprise him.
I'm going to my Jew.
I had to make a surprise visit quick.
Of course, that was so necessary. The way I before Yanni Pepe can catch me. No
Thank you.
problem.
And then after that visit, I came back for another visit. I think, and right after that, COVID, like 2 months later, COVID hit.
Right.
So it was all God's timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just
But I think the important thing from your story and the move is you prayed, you
yes,
listened to God,
yeah.
and you followed. You totally yielded yourself to His direction.
Amen.
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 Totally, you didn't say it's that you were not worried about what difficulties you have. If
Yeah.
things will work out, if things wouldn't
Right.
work out, you say, well, there is like people like the Bible said, here I am, Lord, sent me.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
So here I am, Lord, I'm leading to your direction and all of that. I wanna talk a little bit because you all have a beautiful relationship. But I
Yes.
want the audience to also know that Jasmine, this is your second marriage.
Yes.
Yes. Second, my second as
And
well.
your second marriage also, Prince, it's
Yes.
like some people, like I like to use myself as an example, having been married for 29 years and decide to get divorced after 29 years.
Yeah.
One of the difficulties is, do I need a boyfriend? Do I want a boyfriend? Do I want to date again? No, I'm okay with my children. So I pick up the cliche that I'm a virgin, because that virgin, when I put it up front, is saying that there are some fears.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is some fears when it's like no one goes into a marriage planning to get divorced.
That's right.
Not long.
And then when you look, today is a good day. I'm able to just talk about any and everything. Lord, I
Yeah.
thank you.
Wow, thank God.
Thank
I
God.
thank you. So when you get there, it's like nobody wants to say, oh, I'm going to be in this marriage and I'm going to get divorced, but things happen. So the two of you coming from another marriage, how easy was it were you both able to adjust to wanting to date again, love again, and get married again?
Well, he didn't want to get married. First of all, he pursued me for 2 years, and like you said, after I left I decided to leave. I left my marriage. I had my two boys, and there were some friends, oh, you can't leave. Let me
Yeah.
just tell
Yeah,
somebody
you can't
something.
leave, and that's that. You can't leave our father
Thank
until
you.
9 years later.
Thank you. Let me just tell
You were
somebody
on.
something.
Come on.
Listen, if it's not working, it's not working. I've heard, mother, I've heard so many people, oh, I don't want to be a divorcee, and so they stay in a place where they're not happy. They stay in a place where they're not growing, and what God has for them will never come because they're in the wrong place with the wrong person.
Come on.
And so I have people telling me, oh, you have two boys, just stay in that marriage. And honestly, I knew for the first year I was in that marriage, I knew I shouldn't have been there. First of all, because I got married when I was 19. So I
Wow.
already knew that I was not supposed to be in that marriage. But then I found out I was pregnant with my first child. And then when I had the first boy, 9 months later, I had the second boy. So I had the babies back to back. And then
I see why Brother Prince kept running back to you.
That's right.
I see why he kept running back to Minnesota. That cool, and it's like you have the best heat for the cold.
Yes. Yes. She's a Hawaii from
oh
Minnesota.
my
There you
goodness.
go. I love it.
Yeah, and then I decided to leave. I stayed in the marriage for 7 years, and I was actually married in my mind for 1 year, but the rest of the 6 years I was just there because of fear of what people would say, from my background, oh, Bishop Reed's daughter and this and that, praise and worship leader, all kinds of the fear of what people would say have a lot of people stuck where they shouldn't be right now. So 7 years later, one morning I thank God for just grace and the mindset that He just gave me to just walk away with my two children because from our background, people started saying, "Oh, no, no man will want you." I was still young.
Yeah.
Nobody will want to pick you up with two children and blah blah blah. I was like, listen, I will work three jobs. If no man want me, I will work three jobs and I will support me and my children. That's exactly what I did. I had three jobs in Minnesota working, and I had two babies. And my younger brother Joel stepped in, and he and his wife Gladys, they were there for me and the boys and stuff like that. Then comes Prince. His mom was in my dad's church. So my dad was getting ready to go back to Liberia. So he made his mom the senior pastor for the church. He comes to church talking about you. And I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm not trying to do all that stuff with me. Like you say, you are afraid. And I was young. I already messed up in my mind. Got two kids young. And so I didn't want anything to do with any man. So for 2 years, Prince pursued me. He called my dad, called family members. Later on, I was like, let me tell you, mother, because when I first saw he was
Oh no.
skinny,
He was trying. He
he
was
was
looking like
like,
hungry.
hey, Mark used to be OP. So I wasn't there.
Get in the story.
So my friends that used to be around me be like, but me then they pour one you, they pour one you can't. I said, no, I pour more OP looking at poor.
Get
So,
in the story.
but I mean,
But you know
after
what,
two
Happy?
years,
We're laughing about this. We're laughing at this. And there's some funny video the other day. We do these things.
Yeah.
We we have choices. We're like, I want that one. I
yeah,
want. What you telling him? They may already try. Looking hungry. Mark up.
yeah,
Who you want? I
Yeah.
want.
Well, why can't he?
exactly. So 2 years later, 2 years later, I decided, okay, let me just try. Because he was persistent, kept coming, kept
Gotta go
talking
after
to
what you
me.
want.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so
Go after what
I
you want.
finally gave in, and I honestly, when I talked to him, because for 2 years I did not want to talk. I didn't even know who he was. I just heard. So I finally opened up to talk to him, and I found out, wow, he's different. Okay, I think I like this guy, and then 17 years later, it's a beautiful place where we are with
Amen.
friends. He's
Yeah.
silly. He has that apostolic covering and everything, but he's a silly guy. He
The
makes
mouth
good.
close, you know, see he now, even
The
walking a cover now, the mouth close.
the beer close their mouth.
Her good cooking.
I know, right? Yeah, all your good cooking and everything
You
now.
know,
She
I mean,
describe, you're not dry anymore.
not at all. Thanks to her. And
So
and,
let's
and I
yeah,
think
let's. I wanted to share something.
Go ahead.
Someone wrote here. I can't see the name. And this is what they're saying: is God is never honored by enduring a dysfunctional marriage.
yes,
Never
correct.
honored. So it's like people should not get to the place where. I mean, it took me a long time to be able to leave mine after 29 years. But if you're not happy, you're just not happy. If
Yes.
it's not working,
Victor
it's
Kuhn wrote
just
that.
not working. That
That's
yeah, which
Victor
is true,
Kong.
and no matter the number of years does not change
That's right.
the fact that you are not happy.
That's
So
Yep.
right.
it's like some people stay in marriages for different reasons. It's like you said, and you said something that I want to caution all of us. People don't understand the impact of the things we say,
Yeah.
Yeah,
how they hurt people.
Yes.
It's that look at you, a young woman, barely 20 years old with
Yes.
2 children.
right.
You're not afraid to try again, but the first thing that you're afraid of is what are people going to say?
That's right.
What are people going to say? So let's hear about Apostle Prince. You were married before, you saw the bright jewel, you hungry, you dry, your mouth hanging. You said, I didn't want you, I falling behind. Whether she wanted me or not, I falling behind her.
That's right. You know, and I think the word I was two words I would say begin again. Most people are
Yes.
afraid to begin again.
And again.
You know, and I think we should be free to try it again. But yeah, my first marriage was like a drive-through marriage. You know, I got married for 3 months and I was it. You know,
Whoa.
Are you in the history book?
I am the history book. It was 3 months.
Wow.
And I think that God had a destiny for me. You know,
Yes.
and I say this a lot. That God called me to ministry from my mother's birth. But until she shows up, then God said, now it's time to start your ministry. But
Amazing.
yeah, but I think when she and I first met, you know, she's a beautiful woman, you know, and she had all these rich guys chasing after her. I'll be at church. This guy with Mercedes Benz will pick her up. But you know, being young from New York, you know, I had game. Come on,
You
somebody,
got
I
a
had game.
game, baby. You
You
got
know,
the game.
he got a car, but I had a game.
There you go.
You know,
That can be,
so
not even a game you had, Apostle, you had the swag.
that's right. That go on,
What
mother.
are
That's it
your
right
mouth
there.
for hitting you?
It
What
was
are you
hitting
when
you.
I
You know,
person did what she said, ah, but that man drop on you got swag on.
yeah. So the first day she spoke to me, I really spit out some real game. She was like,
There
huh?
you go.
She was like,
You got boss on here.
yeah, she was like, he's different, you know. And in all fairness, after we met, I have just gotten divorced because, you know, when you're married for 3 months, you get what they call annulment. So
Yes, annulment. Oh, yes.
we walk in the front door of the courthouse that morning and walk out the back door with my divorce documents. You know, so I've been divorced, and then we started dating, and she said, oh, you know, I think we want to move to the next level because she didn't want to live, she want to live right. Because you see my wife, she looked at sweet back color.
Okay.
You know,
You not hear that kind of description before?
No.
so in all transparency, right? Let's
Yes.
keep it real. We as Christians, right? And the
Yeah.
Bible say abstain from that until you get married.
Forget it.
So what we wanted to do, mother,
You
I'm
see her
keeping
where
it
she hiding her face, oh.
real. Yeah. Keeping it real tonight. And
Go
what we
ahead.
did, she said, okay, she was sleeping in the room and I was sleeping in the living room. So that's what we did. One night, mother, we both are creeping. We met in the hallway. And a different story. The next day,
Sorry.
the next we got married.
Very quickly.
The passion was too much.
It was too much tension. When you come to the top,
But
I love you.
we were dating for 3 months. We got engaged after 3 months. And after 6 months, we got married. So here we
Wow.
are 17 years later, making impact
Amazing.
around the world to give God the praise.
Yes, I
Yes.
love it. I love it. I love it. And I love that you recognize, especially, I mean, it's like Jasmine hung in there for 7 years, but you recognized after 3 months
Oh,
that
no.
this is not working.
That's right. That's
This
right.
not working. So you hear what the Reverend say? Yes, God wants us to live holy.
That's
But
right.
you see that bread Jew just passing by you like that.
The
He said,
passion.
God, I will eat it small and I will come to you for forgiveness. But this is an amazing, even here, you want to chime in, you want to talk about it. And I was talking about the fact that this is their second marriage.
Yeah.
Jasmine being young with 2 children at about 20 years old,
Yeah.
married for 7 years, and then meets Prince, who she now described like he dry. I bet you not the way he looking. If anybody trying, the thing what she was telling out, he's smart.
She was fine for me now.
And there you go. But I wanted to talk about their marriage, the fact that this is their second marriage. Yes, she said there was fears, and how were they able to attract and also put away their fears. So if you wanted to ask them some questions.
Yeah, Mother, I'm sorry. I was going to add this to that up because I have 2 kids as well. But we met, so blended family is another issue by itself. Blended family. So it was truly, things were to work through. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
And let me
are the
just say-
challenges with the blended family and bringing the family together and your family and her family? How did that work out? Or what challenges did you guys face?
I think it was easy for me because I understood that she came with the kids.
Oh,
Right. So I was a single dad. I had just my son. My daughter lived with her mom in another state. So I understood that this were her children and they came together as a package still. And naturally, I love children. And as a person who counsel couples and who teach about marriage, I tell folks that if you're dating someone who has already have children, before you start disciplining the children, you must first gain their love and their respect.
Yes.
So most men come to marriages and want to come with an iron hand, an iron fist.
yes.
To prove that they are the man, right? You must first gain, because first thing, a woman wants security, right? So she's not going to love you as much as you want her to love you until she knows her children are secure in your presence, right? So that's very important. So blended family, the challenges for us, it was not much at all. As someone who naturally loved children, so it was an easy transition for us. So, and we give God a praise for that, because most families struggle in those areas.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. That's amazing. Someone is writing that the 2 of you are authentic people, no faking here.
Victor Kuhn.
Amen.
Yeah, Victor Kuhn is saying
Victor
authentic
Kuhn,
people,
yes.
no fake here.
Bless you,
Thank you, Rev.
bless you, my
That's
brother.
a
Bless you.
beautiful thing. So you finished now. You're not Tim, the man who was supposed to be ugly. The man that marry you. The man that marry you, now you're together. Then you decide to leave and come to Greensboro, where you know nobody. But not just move, you decide to start a church there and to start a restaurant.
Yes.
How did you think you will be able to become successful? I know you have faith.
Yeah.
But come on now, you don't know nobody in that. Let me tell you, I know Greensboro. I
Yeah.
have family in Greensboro. So it's like when you pass one horse, you're not seeing another horse again until
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and I do rolling. I know that play that.
Yeah,
When
Mama,
you pass
I
one,
improve.
Yeah,
really?
too small, yeah.
Okay, I have to come to the restaurant because I know that Greensboro. When you pass one and they roll it, they roll it. How they can call it a cross. How they roll it? Look.
They have done well so far.
Amazing. But development is. But I want to talk about the restaurant, Kingdom Cafe.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about you relocating and not only deciding to start a church, but you also decide to start a restaurant. How did that process go? Or how did you want to do that first? And not even wait. It's like 2 years after you move, you're into a restaurant.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
I've always loved to cook. So Kingdom Cafe started in Minnesota, obviously. But when I moved here, I started talking to a few people. I met few people. Unlike Minnesota, where you hear Liberians everywhere.
Yeah.
You just described Greensboro, so this
I know
little
that place. I know that.
The community is spread out.
Yeah, so So I met few Liberians in the store when I hear them talking because my second son moved with me with the two youngest. So
Okay.
we will go to the dollar store, trying to explore, and then we met few Liberians, and so we got connected with the few that we met, and then one particular family was in a sense a blessing, but then on the other hand, they were not encouraging because when I told the wife that I love to cook and I had my cooking my business in Minnesota, because Prince I used to cook and he would deliver. So it was not like now where people come to buy the food. They'll put in the order and then we would take the food to them. So it was technically on wheels. So she was like, "Oh no, she just discouraged me." But like I said, I'm a go-getter. I don't just sit down and I'm not lazy. I like to be on the move. And so when something is on my mind and if I put something, if God puts something in my spirit, I go for it. It doesn't matter how hard it seems because everybody or most of the people that I met, some of them were just, Liberians here, they don't support, and the same routine everywhere,
Yes.
So most of them discouraged me and stuff, but I felt like I want to make a difference. I did not move from Minnesota here, left everything over there after 20 years just to come and sit down and just, be in the number. So even with the church, when I came, the same family, Liberian churches don't prosper here. There is no Liberian church, and I can tell you, um, there is a Liberian church here, one Liberian church we met here, and that was the only church, and everybody else said, oh, because they don't speak English there, they speak their dialect, that's why the church keep going, but no really authentic English Liberian church. And so I like, no, we've been doing ministry for 10 years. The same God that took us in
Yes.
is able to do it here. And so we found that building, Mother, within 3 months.
That's right.
And I'm telling you, the market price for that building, if it was in Minnesota, would have cost us maybe $4,000. We found the building for $800.
Wow.
Yes, where we are now.
Wow.
$800. And so that's how we knew that God was in this thing in the first place. We are right downtown Greensboro.
Yes.
It's a prime location where you can. We in the downtown area, just right there. We're like 2 minutes from downtown itself. So that's the first thing.
Are you closer to the Walmart area?
Not far from Walmart. Greensboro got 7 different Walmarts.
Yeah,
about
we
six
got
or seven.
7 different Walmarts
It's
now.
a
But
big.
you see that I
They're
really
not
because
improved.
that
Yeah,
time was
they
that
do.
one.
Oh, we
No.
got 7.
Yeah.
We got 7. So then with the restaurant, so then the building I found the building
Well, one
online.
side is it.
So it's a whole building, but the space that was available for the church was like this open space. I think we shared that so many times on there. And so on the other side, the owner had her boats. It's one of the millionaires in Greensboro, the building that we in. She owns that building. So she was storing her boats there. So
Wow.
yes, on the other side, and each side is 2,400 square feet.
Right.
So
Big,
that's how big it is. Yes.
big.
I saw that space, and the first thing that came to my mind, like, I think I can put a restaurant in that space, but the lady had her boat there. And so I didn't pursue it for a while. I wanted the church to grow a little bit, get some people, and God sent us amazing, amazing people in Greensboro.
Man.
They're just helpful. I don't even know how to describe it. One day we sit down and talk about the Liberians that we met here, that the young ladies with their husbands. And God, they're just so amazing. There is nothing I want that I cannot have in Greensboro.
Woo.
Yes.
Amazing.
Anything I want, and I can boast about it.
Amazing.
Anything that I want, I just need to call one of them and they will come. So it's so different from where I came from, And let me just say this before I complete this story. Where I came from, the parishioners grew with us. because we were young
They were
too,
young. They were young.
and
Yeah.
they were young, so they grew with us, so they saw our flaws and everything. You know how it is, how
Yes.
we quick to cross the line. So most of them crossed that line. But here, most of the women here are my age. Most of them are older than me, but I mean, it's just a totally different atmosphere. Fast
Amazing.
forward, last October, he became an apostle. So we asked the owner of the building to please allow us to use her space to so because we had so many people coming, we
Reception.
wanted to use the place just for extra space. So we got in that place. We have a brother, Bishop Creighton, Crystal Creighton. He, his wife, everybody was there. And I told him, I said, you know what? I'm really believing God for this space. And I guess maybe they looked at me as I was crazy. But I told him, I said, I'm going to get this space and I'm going to turn it into something. That was
Woo!
October. By December, we acquired that space. So now we have the entire building to ourselves.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So, and the restaurant, oh my goodness, it's just, I don't even know how to say, Mother. It's blowing my own mind because it's the first Liberian restaurant in Greensboro from since Greensboro started.
Wow.
Yes. The
Wow.
first Liberian restaurant. So,
Wow.
and I'm grateful for the Liberians that have come. They would tell us, oh my God,
Support is
you
good.
you put us on the map and stuff, because they have other Africans that have businesses in Greensboro, but for us to have this Liberian restaurant, it's the first, and we have seen our Liberian people come out and support us.
That's
They will
right.
buy the food, even though prior to that, the lady told me nobody would come and buy my food, but that's different.
Like, they
Yes.
People come
supportive,
out,
yeah.
as well as the African Americans, even
Yes.
Caucasians, they
They
come out and they buy.
That's that's faith talk. That's faith
Amen.
talk.
Amen.
That
Amen.
is faith talk. That is like
speaking it into
believing.
existence.
Yes.
Amen.
That's right.
Yes.
Amen.
It is like I was telling my one of my daughters that they were talking something just quickly, and people were some people are encouraging her to do this, and other people I said, listen, you know God for yourself.
Mhm.
You go to God, you pray
Right,
to him, you lay your
right.
plan before him, you forget about what anybody else have to say. The
Thank you.
focus has to be on you.
That's
And
right.
this
That's
is
right.
exactly what you all did. Look at where you are today now. It would have also been, yes, somebody said grace. That's grace.
Amen.
But that's
Amen.
exercising your faith so
That's
that
right.
God's grace becomes abundantly
Come
over
Amen.
on,
you.
mother, you preaching.
Amen.
Amen.
Yes, but I ran away from the preaching.
We
I
will
know,
send you
we
back.
know, we know.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. We'll send you back.
Yes, God's grace is sufficient.
Amen.
Mother,
It's
we will
not
send
that-
you back.
Yeah,
Amen.
we're talking about that sending me by the agenda. But it's an amazing, amazing life story. It's like you didn't stop. You didn't stop to where it started.
Mm,
Like you got married before. You
right,
didn't say, I'm gonna stop here.
right.
You continue to live your life. And just watching the two of you from afar, your interaction, there's a daycare,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Yes.
It's like you decide to leave everything you've acquired in 20 years to move to a no man's zone.
right.
And
That's
it's
right.
almost like you're saying, God said, trust me.
Yes,
Just like Abraham. That's right.
Trust me.
Yep.
That's right.
Yes. I have a favorite, it's almost a God, you don't call me yes with. Yes. I have a favorite Bible verse. I love this. I love your story. It's amazing. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3.
Yes.
Mm,
The vision
That's
yes.
right.
is yet for an appointed time.
Appointed time,
Though
yes.
it tarries,
The
he
tarry,
says,
wait for
wait.
it.
That's
Wait,
right.
it will
And you
surely
said,
come.
God, take us. And you
That's
Yes,
right.
follow him and look at you today.
Amen.
Look at you today. You have a restaurant, you
yes,
have a daycare, you have a church. You don't have one church. You're an apostle because you're planting churches in other countries.
yes.
As we
Amen.
were almost at an hour, and look, we ain't even talking about the juicy thing there yet. But
Yep.
I want you to talk a little bit about your faith as it relates to the fact that you're also building. I'm amazed that you have a ministry in India.
Yes.
I am
And Pakistan.
amazed
Yes.
when I see on Prophetess on Jasmine's birthday and see those Indian children sending her
Yes.
birthday greetings. I'm telling you, I am a big fan of the two of you. I follow
Thank
everything
you.
Thank
you
you.
do.
Thank you, Mother. Thank you.
It's like it's amazing. It's like you're having churches in places where the gospel is not popular,
Right.
Amen.
but
Yes.
you dare to go there and be a different.
Amen.
Yes. Amen.
Tell us a little bit about how you decided to want to go and start a church in India. India.
We a few years ago, our first international church was in Kenya,
GeesBeeCee.
Kenya.
GeesBeeCee, Kenya.
I went there for missions. After planting that, after Kenya, then we planted in Liberia, and then different countries, and then India and Pakistan. Actually, in Pakistan, we have 2 locations in Pakistan,
Wow.
and we have a school in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Those videos, no picture was a student from
The
the school.
students there.
The school.
You have a school?
Yes,
Yes.
a non-profit school.
Well, you're not even people are not small people here.
Ah.
We pay the teachers. It's a tuition-free school in
Yeah.
Oh
Kenya.
my God. Listen, folks, this is please, if you're here and you're hearing these people's testimony, because their story is not just a story, it's an amazing testimony of what God has done.
Amen.
And if you
Amen.
want, I'm telling you, these people have churches in places, Kenya, in India, where in Pakistan, where's the other place here?
Pakistan, Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone,
We have a school in Sierra
Liberia.
Leone too, yeah.
There is a school in Sierra Leone in Waterloo.
And
We have a school.
Wow.
all of our schools are non-profit. And if I can share for a minute, Mother, about our schools,
Go ahead.
I went to Liberia for mission in 2023, no, 2013.
2013.
And then as I was driving, I saw a school age student by the roadside. So I told the driver to stop. So I asked the little girl, I said, "Oh, why you not in school?" She said, my mom said I can't go to school. So I said, "Where's your mom?" She put me to her mother. This lady standing by the roadside, she sells corn for a living. So I said, "Mom," she said, "Why she not in school, Mom?" She said, "My son, I sell corn for my children to eat. Either the money I make, either for them to go to school or for us to eat. So I can't afford school, even the government school." So that's how come we started a school in Liberia. That's how the school was birthed. And then from Liberia to Sierra Leone now, and then to Pakistan. And those are tuition-free schools. We pay the teacher, and we ourselves, with our own salary,
No.
we've never been. But we pay the teachers, we take care of everything for the teachers in school, and pay for the building, the school buildings. And as a matter of fact, please pray with us. We're about to start a new location in Broadville.
Wow.
So by God's grace, we're looking forward to do that because we want to make an impact. Because I came from very humble beginning. My wife, on the other hand, she had cook, she had driver, you know that.
I know that. I know that. What you talking about? Abishari daughter? What you talking about?
Thank you.
Abishari daughter.
And I lived and grew up in a one room. I had this big house. You got one with my mom in a
Humble
one room.
beginnings.
So I went to evening school. My mom came to America. I still my family who sent me to evening school. You know how folks do. Their kids went to the best of school in the morning. They sent me to one community school in the evening. So I saw cold water in the day and went to school in the evening. So because of those things, I said, you know what? We must make a difference. And thank God my wife, she bought a vision. And we are today in country. We are in the 16 countries around the world. And we have 110 locations and then 3 schools. And we praise God for that.
Amazing. Wow. 16 countries.
Yes.
I want to share something. There are people, and I want to share it because when I think you, knowing you, when I watched you becoming an apostle, I decided to research who's an apostle.
Yes.
Why are people called apostles?
Yes.
And so I want to share with people here, when you hear somebody say, I have churches or I have ministry in 16 locations, that's an apostle, because God said, go out
Amen.
into the world. So this is a true apostle.
Amen.
We have
Praise
apostles today who have no ministry.
Come on, mother.
When you see this apostle here, he's an apostle. You need to make sure you call him apostle, because he has just proven he has 16 churches, 16 ministries. This is a real apostle.
110 churches in 16 countries.
Spread out there.
110
10
churches in
churches,
Yeah.
16
16
countries.
countries.
16
And
countries.
Apostle Glennon, we on here, we ain't get church. And
Amen, mother.
Apostle Ewan here,
Hey,
Apostle Ewan,
mama.
Amen.
we get church. So when you hear those people being called apostles and they're being called bishop, you gotta go and find out the biblical
The
connotations
names,
of
the
those
That's
reason.
right.
names.
That's right.
And make sure they are carrying out the two apostles. I know you and I know Apostle GeesBeeCee.
Yes,
Yes.
that's my
They're,
brother.
they're doing ministries
Amen.
and they're
Amen.
living up to
Amen.
why they're being called their name. So when you hear it, my people, don't say Bishop Glennon. You can't get church. Somebody got 102 ministries in 16 countries. That's
Amen.
it. That is
Amen.
it.
Amen.
But we
Yep.
want to say, we want, as we come to the end, how do you all, I know everything is not all glory.
No.
There's a day that the apostle can make you really mad.
Oh,
Then the man
no,
a bassa man, listen not a bassa man. You just
no.
say you get somebody bassa blood. So when he not make you feel that he will go start frying some kind of oil when you smell that food and the
Yes.
vegetation finish.
Yes.
So we want to talk a little bit as we come to it. And how do you all handle conflicts in your marriage? This is the second time around, and I'm sure the second time around is like we want to make sure we try to do everything right,
Right. That's
so
right.
that this one does not fail.
Yes.
So how and I want to hear about how you handle conflicts. I want to also hear that you've moved on from what didn't work before and you're just pushing forward.
Yeah.
So tell us how you handle conflicts.
I think you.
No, go.
I think what works for us and should work for most couple is as a married couple you must what's it called become each other greater supporter and greater critics also, but behind closed door. I don't criticize my wife in public. She don't do the same to me as well. We are big supporter of each other. So what it is that when we disagree, we know that we have each other's best interests at heart. That even in our disagreement, after a while, we come and fix it. Because once you know it's come from a good place, then you can trust the person. So for us, it has worked for us for now. So even when we disagree or stuff like she didn't put enough meat in my bowl or just disagree over ministry stuff or something over our spiritual children, we know it comes from a good place. So after the end of the day, we come and iron things out. So I think the foundation of that is knowing that your partner thoughts and feelings for you come from a good place. And I think that have helped us a lot.
Amazing. Eva, anything else?
No, it's just an amazing, journey and amazing story. It's very inspiring.
Thank you.
Very, very inspiring. But I tell you, one of my wishes is to come to Greensboro. I am not promising anytime I know the place, but the fact is like when we become aware of stories like yours, the most we can do is to be supportive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And this is what we do here, is to be able to support, share people out. And I'm sure there are people who have listened to us this evening and they've become bold in their struggle. They
Amen.
want to be able to try it out there because you've been able to do it. And one of the things is like in all of your stories, it was like the both of you are partners
Yes.
in it. So if you're lacking behind, the two of you did what you could do to bring this one. It's like you being a man and sending your wife and young children first and saying, go ahead, but I will work here and take care of you.
Yes.
What an amazing journey. And Apostle Prince can bluff. The man can, I don't care how Jasmine try, she ain't what you my son.
I tell you.
We serve God and we look good serving God.
There you go.
Yes, you got to.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we want to say thank you. We want to say thank you so much. We're going to continue to follow your joining and we're going to support you. You never know. We might show up in Greensboro for something, GeesBeeCee.
Yeah.
But we're looking forward to continuing to support you and may your faith continue to be strong so that others will see your testimony before you even speak it.
Amen.
Yes.
So all the very best. Keep being young for him, Jasmine. They may fun. Yeah. You're not cry anymore.
I hear you.
Thank you. But, if I may share, I mean, I share. We will be in Delaware. Actually, my brother, Wesha G.
Yeah.
I'm preaching for him next week. Next weekend, we'll be there for
Next
the weekend.
weekend.
Yes,
Oh,
in
I
Delaware.
might just show up.
Oh, we'll love
I've
to
been
have
to
you,
the
brother.
church. I've been to the church. You know that my Cottington people, so I might
That's
just
right.
show up there. Yes.
Yeah, you have an event
Yes.
next weekend. We'll be there. And also, thank you to my brother. You know, you talk about bluffing. I learned it from my brother Victor Kuhn. You know, Victor Kuhn.
That is.
Now, Victor, when I saw her bluffing, Victor can I said the thing I left on my children, and let me wear the ugly clothes. All my son they can bluff.
Go ahead, mother.
I dress you in what my son and where you coming to come tell me I get dressed, my children can dress. But we thank you all so much. Thank you for joining us. Wish you all the best. Keep putting your faith first and putting your faith into action. Thank you all so much for joining us. All
Thank
the
you for
best.
having
Like
me.
my boss can say, I wonder why, if you've ever been friends or if you have Jewish friends, they always part with these three words. All the very best.
Oh,
Amen.
They say every time my boss will say, all the very best to you, all the very best to the two of you.
amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you
Let's
for
meet in-
having.
Sure.
Anytime, come back.
Amazing story, Eva.
Yes.
Oh my
Wow.
God. Two young people.
They're doing a lot.
Yes. And
110
it is
churches. Wow.
102 ministries in 16 countries.
110.
110. They're doing a lot of work.
Yep.
They have schools. And this is the thing, so whatever they're working for is to be able to support the ministries that they're in.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That
That apostle name is well deserved.
yes.
He's in. Yes.
He truly is an apostle.
Some people just take names and just.
Somebody just tell I need that. They didn't even get church like Glendale. They get church. Glendale, Bishop Glendale.
Yes,
Bishop. Yes. There are two people who I know. There are two people, people that I'm close with, my children. I have Bishop Johnson, Joseph Johnson. He's another one who is doing a lot of work with restoration ministry in Liberia. Big church, plenty church here and there, have ministries in the different villages. And then we have Apostle Prince here. Those people that the people that I can really call, but when you tell a clinic, and you get bishop or apostle or prophet before your name, I will just call you by your name.
Just that I have one place to just be preaching all day.
Preaching all day, but
they're everywhere. That's good. I love it.
Yes, that's amazing. Amazing to be the first Liberian restaurant in Greensboro.
Next time I'm there, I have to go there.
Yes. Yeah, and it's not, I think it's about 4.5 hours.
Yeah, it's not far.
It's about maybe an hour or 45 minutes from Durham.
Oh yeah, that's not far.
Yes. So that's not bad. We could plan a trip down there. That's good. So folks, we're almost done here. Thank you for sticking. I enjoyed the show today, man. Imagine her deciding the man was too dry for her.
But that's not what we can do.
I know.
We passed by all they wanted because they looked their way. They looked that way.
You're bringing me something to reminding me. Sometimes I can be looking back and say, but what happened? I don't want to hope they went. What did they win the medal? That's what I can be doing now. I can be checking my memory and step on Glendale. Then you see somebody who won't tell you who are ready behind you doing well, who were ugly. I had some people
in your eye, they were ugly, but now
come back. Don't make my head that job because Sharon asking me what happened to my dreadlocks. The woman will give me my dreadlock business. But imagine sometimes you look back, you say, but wait now. When you see, sometimes we can mess up, but we miss our opportunities.
Yes.
Because we're being too choosy.
Yes.
I tell you today at a low, let me confess, because I like to tell my own story. I don't want nobody to tell. I can look back on my list and say, but Glenil, Then you see somebody who wanted you before, who you were calling ugly, now the person that medical doctor.
And you see it?
Medical doctor.
Pass by your blessing.
You pass by your blessing, you go jump up, you jump to Yakpaworo. You pass by your blessing, eh? You see all the one he too ugly. No, we have to talk about this thing here today. We gotta talk a little bit about it.
We need to do a whole show on it.
Yes. We need to do a whole show on this not being so choicy.
Yes.
You know? Look at her example. Look at it.
Yes.
And I don't blame her for her story. It's like she said, yes, somebody saying they almost missed their husband. My dear, in there. We're sitting down there, we think we're all beautiful, all pretty. You sitting right there, I just remember a video.
Pastor D said, I want to be
sending all of this. You get iron today, you wanted the slipper and drop now, then you say, oh, what that tipo slipper or that rubber. No, this thing is serious. We have to get to the place where we have to be able to be free to. But I think the reason why people do that is they're afraid of what society is going to say. And I think we need to do away with that.
Yes.
We can't be looking at people's features and you can say, oh, the men are ugly, so you'll not be able to take care of me. I'm telling you, somebody who used to like me, I saw them somewhere the other day. I saw them somewhere. The man was even reminding me. Clearly, you remember I used to like you?
He married?
He married, ma. I'm going to that man. Hey.
Come slip in the back.
He was not married. If he was not married, I would just find all the lies. Say, you boy, you know my power used to be high on me. And not because you were ugly. But let's see what we can do. We can miss our luck. Look at Jasmine today. She said she had this. She met her husband now. And she said the man was too dry. And his mouth, of course, if you dry, you got enough fat, your mouth will be open.
Yes.
She said he was too dry, his mouth was open, and she didn't want him. Look at him today. They move. He juicy. The man looking very juicy.
He juicy now. Victoria, he very juicy now.
Very juicy. That's small thing. Someone would just pass around you ugly men and they want you and say, oh no, he too ugly. I want you. I'm telling you, I miss my luck. Man, a doctor. Let me sit down here. I can't even get wheelbarrow man right now.
You got plenty and you just ain't want commit.
Hey, I see you are trying to go in my DM, yeah?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, the choices that we can make, they don't help us. Sometimes they don't help us. Stop being so choicy. Relax yourself. Yeah. Vicky, we love you, Vicky. We thank you for watching all the way from Liberia. You're still on following. This was an amazing story. We've talked to Apostle Prince Williams and his wife, Prophetess Jasmine Williams. These people have 110 ministries and schools in 16 countries, including India and Kenya, Pakistan. That is amazing work they've done. They've also have opened the first Liberian restaurant
in Greensboro.
I'm looking forward to the day, but you know my daughter, Princess, she's pregnant now. Femi Webb. I'm looking forward to the day where Liberian restaurants, where we can be able to host how they can call it, food tasting or whatever, with all of the Liberian restaurant owners. Yeah, they're in Greensboro. They opened their first restaurant. And look at them today. Look at where they are. If you are coming, be picking and choosing now. But now,
like she said, all the men were coming with a BMW, with a car, with money.
All of them were coming with BMW.
The devil was there flashing his head.
I bet you he was coming in. I tried to say, where are we, Bill? Because he was already dry.
The devil was flashing a BMW, the money in front of her.
Yes.
Not knowing God was bringing a poor man. You can't stand in front of her.
Look at the other one say, thank you, Eva. I know that thing that Caroline right here.
That Caroline. I
know that her. That Caroline, she just behind me for man business. Where you will be my bridesmaids. Look, folks, we had a good show. Good show. But the moral of the story is, get to know people.
Mhm.
Don't look at their features, get to know them. You may think they may not match you, but listen, you don't know what they're gonna have. So if they're fat,
Always grow.
if
That
they're
love can
ugly,
grow.
yes, yes, you got to the choices. Some of us we look back now and say, why we didn't do this? How did I miss him?
Mhm.
That boy telling me say he doctor, his
Mhm.
wife is a doctor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, clinic sitting down here.
Look, goodbye.
Yakpa said she didn't get yakpa woro. Yakpa she didn't get.
Ah, Jesus.
No, we had a good time. We're missing, of course. Agatha is not here today, but we want to remind you all tomorrow is the show in Liberia. Is it tomorrow?
No,
22nd.
Saturday.
It's
Tomorrow Friday.
Saturday. It's Saturday, Rodney Sear book launch. We have to continue to talk about Brother Rodney. We're so proud of him. The book launch is in Liberia tomorrow. There will be Saturday. There will be a lot of musical Liberian artists performing. Of course, make sure you go and connect. GBC will be there live. GBC will be fully represented at that book launch. So make sure you go there and get to meet us. Anywhere you go, when you see me, you're meeting us. When you see Eva, you're meeting us. When you see Agatha, you're meeting us.
Yes.
When you see Michael, who is, I don't even know where he is, whether he on leave or what he is, if I is there. Any one of us you see, try to connect and support. This is what we do. We're supportive and we want to wish Rodney all the best and those who have to travel. We know that there's some people who are traveling to the book launch in Liberia. We want to wish them a safe travel to Liberia. Our guest on Thursday. There may be a show. There is a beautiful young woman who is going to be our guest on Thursday. She's a chef,
Mm.
Chef Adani or Adine. She is Chef Adigibi is also her last name. I am telling you, I went to a birthday party 2 years ago, and this woman made a cake. She is so phenomenally artistic. The woman can make Irish cream battle cake,
Mm.
football cake. So she will be talking to us. She makes pastries. She also makes, Eva is into drinking juice and she's also into making these different juices, healthy juices. So
Mhm.
she will be here on Thursday. We will be talking to her. Thank you for watching. We've had a good show today. Some of you here, if you get men and who want you start picking and choosing. You follow behind the men.
Mhm.
Tomorrow they will become president. You see, Joe, we are.
Goodbye. That a good example you give.
See ya, folks. Thank you for watching.